right, sorry for a little delay here. Anyways, we had a meeting earlier and that just finished up. So we're gonna start the agenda for the regular town council meeting for Copper Canyon on Monday, May 11th, 2026. Let's pledge allegiance to the flags. All right, well, thank you. I wish to thank everyone for coming out this evening. We have a pretty good crowd. Every one of you are VIPs, but I want to recognize a couple of VIPs we have in the audience. And that is Paul Teske and his wife Rivers, friends of one of our new council members coming in. So we appreciate them showing up this evening. Paul is a renowned author and pastor, and last year he graced us with a wonderful invocation for us last year. And once again, we're going to start our second year swearing in his younger sister joining our council. With that, we're going to go to the oaths of office. Will be next. But before that, I want to start. Chase, if you'll come up to the middle, please, for a second. We have one of our council members. I'll do it from the microphone right here. One of our council members, Chase Liebert, after 4 years on the council, he's decided to spend his time at home, and we all understand that totally, and I have a little presentation for him. Chase, thanks for all your help. Appreciate it. Copper Canyon appreciates all your time and effort you put in for us. This is just a nice little thing for you to put in your closet. Now Sheila will bring one new council member to be sworn in up at a time. First will be Jeff Dahl, place 1, followed by Paul Castillo, place 3, and then Nancy Henry, place 5.
Okay, I'm Paul Teskey. I'm Nancy's older brother. I'm sure she appreciates me saying that. Older brother. And, you know, I was a Navy chaplain 20 years, and when I witnessed this, you know, it made me think about this pledge or commitment to honor the truth. You know, it's from the local council area here in Copper Canyon, which has 100, what, it was, pioneers founded this in 1840, I think, and then built that chapel in 1852, so that's a long time. It's almost 200 years. But every official takes that pledge to honor the truth and to not be dissuaded in any way, because they depend on people in service to protect us, right? So let's pray. Almighty God of all wisdom and strength, we seek your blessing upon the civic leadership of Copper Canyon and invoke you to guide them with wisdom and discernment in every decision that they face, and to be ideal stewards of this community. Enable them to focus first and foremost on the collective needs of the citizens under their charge with concern, compassion for the greater collective good. Encourage them to put aside all personal interest so that the greater good of the entire community can be achieved to the fullest extent in every decision they make. And by your divine grace, they can be all that you want them to be. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen? Amen.
Thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate it. That was excellent. Well, welcome the new council members. It's the first time in quite a while we've had a fully elected panel up here at the table, and it's going to be a pleasure working with everyone for the next year, at least, and maybe beyond that. With that, does anybody wish to take pictures before we go to executive session? I know some people want to go leave or whatever. Do you need any pictures done before we leave?
No, they're going to stay. Tyler.
Okay. We're going to go to executive session time at 7:15, and it's the purpose of that is for section 551.074 deliberation regarding personal matters with the town council and also consultation with our attorney. So at 7:15, and we'll try to make it a quick one for us if we can. Oh, please. Yes, thanks, Sheila. And we have coffee and cookies over there for us. Don't eat all the cookies. I need some later on. And, be my guest and stuff. We'll be back.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Rivers. Thank you.
And welcome back to the council. I'll terminate the executive session at 7:46. No action was, oh. Do I take a vote for no action? Deborah? Do I
I'm sorry, what?
take a vote for no action?
No, no.
There was no action taken in the executive session.
No, there's no action taken as a result, to be taken as a result of the executive session.
There's no action to be taken as a result of the executive
Sorry,
session.
Sorry.
I could make so many comments. All right, let's see. Next thing we're gonna do is public input. Citizens may address the council in this portion on topics not listed on the posted agenda. Do we have any speakers for public input? Cheryl White? Yes, ma'am? If you would, please state your name and address when you come up to the podium and make sure the microphone is on. And thank you.
Cheryl White, 535 Summit Drive. I just wanted to bring up the issue of the bulk pickup trash problem. I had an item sitting out for over a month. Two of my neighbors had the same thing sitting out for a month. So I did write a letter to you, Mayor, and I think I CC'd Sheila. And I also sent it to, who's our trash people? PFI?
Republic.
Yeah, Republic. And I got a hold, well, we kind of did phone tag, the representative for our area. I never actually talked to him, but they did come finally pick up my item. But in my letter, I had mentioned not just my item, but the two items from my neighbors. They picked mine up, but they left theirs. You know, I don't understand that. Talking to Sheila, I found out, I guess this year we're up for renewal or looking for maybe another vendor, I guess. I don't know how you say it. But I want the council to look over and make sure that we're getting, you know, the bulk items are getting picked up. I know that like branches, it was like 4 feet by 6 inches. I don't know if you've bulk wrapped up branches before, but mine is never 6 inches. They're at least a foot wide. But review and all that, I don't know where it is to publicly review and look at all that. But I just wanted to bring it and address it to your attention that there is an issue of them being selective of what they want to pick up. Sometimes people have tons of stuff out and they pick it up. I had one item, they left it. I literally put it in the trash can for them to take it. They took it out and threw it on the ground. So I don't know the issue of why they didn't pick it up.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Did you call the Republic 800 number, or did you call
I
our
called-
representative, Jerry?
I called both.
You called both. Did you talk to Jerry?
No, we like I said, he called and I called him back, and I guess I just left a message. And then I guess somebody came and picked it up.
Our town manager will put it in the hopper for tracking this thing down for you.
I want to second this, Troy, because we're experiencing this as well. So,
All right.
That was it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your input. Any other comments for public input? Seeing none, we'll close public input for this hearing. We'll go to staff and mayor and council reports. Troy?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Just a couple quick highlights on the staff report. As you guys may recall, the mayor has asked myself and staff, along with Councilmember Dahl, to start looking at an open space parkland dedication ordinance. So we're kind of been working on that for the last couple of weeks, and then as soon as we get it kind of into that final phase, we'll have our town attorney look at it as well. One of the other things we're working on is our neighbor to the west. When we built the police station, we were going to create some type of landscape screening as well. And so we're in the process of doing that. She needed to do some repairs to her fence, so she finally took care of that. And so we're looking at doing a berm with some shrubs or Vitex or some screening, natural screening between us and the neighbor. So that's been working on, and we're getting proposals and quotes associated with that with our landscape company. Finance Committee met in April. We talked a little bit about future projects in Copper Canyon. So as we go into budget season, you guys will see some of those projects along with cost. And then you guys will kind of we'll put the list together, and you guys will do a priority on which projects you guys feel are important for Copper Canyon. We also had a chance to review our quarterly investment report that's required to the state, and I believe that's in your folder as well, that the committee reviewed. Some upcoming dates, we've got no agenda for this P&Z meeting in May, on May 18th. We are planning on doing a meeting with the CCPD on June 8th at 6 p.m. before the June 8th council meeting as well on the 8th. We also got confirmation on the trail cleanup project that's going to be held on June 6th. If it happens to rain, they'll do it the following weekend on June 13th. And then don't forget, we're in planning stages with the Women's Club of the Woodlands as it relates to the July 4th event. So we're kind of getting all that tidied up and ready to go for July 4th. But those are some upcoming dates. As it relates to development, we have Twin Oaks that's at the end of Copper Canyon Road, just right there where Hickory is, the 4 lots. You notice they were doing some dirt work today, so they're well underway in getting their project started. They got all the erosion control up, and they meet all of our requirements. Copper Knolls Estates on Orchid, they are getting almost everything done before we do an official walkthrough for acceptance. So that's getting closer to being completed. They had met with the fire department to make sure the gate's in compliant with all the things they got to be in compliant as it relates to the fire department. And I think there's a couple things they got to follow up with those guys on as well. Ani Ranch, they're getting in the light poles and some gas lines as well, so they're just still doing some of the infrastructure work to go along with that. In the Halasi de la Sol, which is across the street, it went to P&Z, but there were a lot of outstanding issues that had not been addressed. So they opted to go ahead and bring that to council on June the 8th for consideration. We got comments back. They got comments from our engineer to their engineer staff and reduced about half of those comments that were not addressed at P&Z. So if it's a case where they address all the comments, the preliminary plat would come back or go to council on the 8th, then you guys would have the ability to approve that if they've addressed all those comments as well. And then the final plat will go through the same process. It will go to P&Z and then back through council as well. But that's all the general updates as it relates to the development. PD, Chief Ty's here. He can give you a quick overview and highlights of the PD.
Troy, I have one question on the natural landscape buffer.
Sure.
Between the PD and the neighbor. Did they request that, or that was just part of?
That was something that when we built the building, we had approached them and said, hey, we'll create some type of natural buffer, whether it be trees, shrubs, those type of things.
Can we be sensitive to the fact that we do use that a lot during events like particularly 4th of July?
Right.
I mean, that's a big area there.
Right.
And I would hate for it just to be taken over that we can't, because I think this year's going to be even bigger and better.
Right, because 250. That particular, when we built the building, we moved our septic fields because it used to be on this side of the building, on the east side. So our septic field now is on this side of the building. So we couldn't park cars or do anything on it like we have done in the past. So it's really just kind of an open space that we really can't utilize much because of the septic spray field.
Okay,
that's
that
out there.
makes sense.
Yep.
But it's just such a good open
Yes,
space there. It'd be
agreed.
nice that when they
Yep.
do landscape it.
So what we're looking at is just creating a little berm right next to the parking lot, because that's the highest point. And then putting, like I said, some shrubs to give them some elevation to kind of block the cars, and that's everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Troy. Chief?
I'm Roger Ty, the Chief of Police here. For the month of April, we had 47 total calls for service. Our citation counts are down. We are short a full-time officer, so we only had 82 issued. And we're currently at 13 cases. That's one less than we did all last year. So there's been an increase. Unfortunately, most of them are internet-based fraud crimes. So please, keep an eye on your bank accounts. And if you see anything, contact us. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of these actors are not even in the United States, but the faster you notice it, the faster you can get the companies on it to try and save whatever funds they may have gotten access to. Only notable training I did, I instructed some civil disturbance operations to some elements of the Texas State Guard at Fort Walters last month. It was the first time teaching it, and it actually was pretty well with only minor injuries. So, does anybody have any questions or?
Nope, appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you,
sir.
Chief. Chris is not here, and Chief Vaughn?
Evening, Mayor, Council.
Evening.
Yvonne, Fire Chief. April was a busy month for us. I know it sounds like a broken record, but it was our busiest April ever for us. So it's not as bad as it sounds, though. For the year to date, we're about 3.5% over last year. So it's steady growth. It's good, healthy growth. But a lot of good things, a lot of activities going on in April. We had our budget kickoff season on April 16th. Much like y'all, we spend the first half of our year doing our financial audit, doing all that stuff, and then we start getting into the budget season. So much like y'all, we're getting ready in the mid of all the budget season stuff. So other things we had our community advisory board meeting, and then also exciting news for us is all the rest of the modules for the new station are in, and they're in place, and all the work's being done, and we're hoping that station will be operational by the end of June. So looking forward to seeing that. One other note for April, we did have another, I don't know if I said this, but this was before the last meeting, but we did have another tragic accident with an e-bike and the e-motorcycles. It continues to be a problem, not necessarily in Copper Canyon, but some of the neighborhoods that we have. It's an ongoing issue. So I wanted to commend the police departments. We work with all the towns, putting out public education for the parents. It just continues to be a problem. We've had several, since the holidays, we've had several accidents with young children basically on these scooters and bikes. And, the parents are giving these bikes as like their toys, right? Like, hey, I got you Christmas, I got you a toy. But these are like motorcycles. They go 25, 30 miles an hour, and you get a 12-year-old who doesn't know anything, not wearing a helmet, and it's tragic. And it's one of those situations where the technology is too soon to be regulated. So there's no laws requiring that they have to have a helmet. It's only ordinances that the towns are dealing with. So we're seeing it across our district, and I'm hoping that the message is getting out. But in some cases, one of the kids, it wasn't even their bike. It was a friend's bike. And so you, as a parent, you're thinking, well, hey, I'm going to teach my kid. But if they're letting their friends ride the bike. Anyway, I just don't want to harp on this, but I feel like it's my duty to kind of put out the word and just kind of let the message be heard that it is a problem. And, just make sure you talk to your children and educate them on the do's and don'ts.
Can I interrupt you for a second,
Yes,
Chief? 2 points. One, were these kids did they just fall off, or did they get hit by
No,
cars?
they're getting, and if you think about it, they're on these little scooters. It's basically a skateboard with a little,
Right.
And they're coming around Whataburger, and they just jump right out, and next thing you know, some car didn't even see them.
There was a
And
kid
so-
flying around on in Orchid Hill
Yeah.
last Tuesday about 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, there was
Dark
some of them.
clothing, hauling butt on that thing, flying down. I'm just like, who are your parents?
So
So
the next question I have is, did you mention that there's no laws about having a helmet,
I don't believe
but
there.
except for ordinance?
Go ahead. Not for electronic. See, that's the problem. It's too new, and it's not really. There's not
Right.
laws in place
Did
yet.
you say that it could be a town ordinance?
I think there may be, I don't know if it can be or not, you have to check
Yes,
with your
it
attorney. I
can
think
be.
you can.
Yes.
Some of the towns are starting to look at certain ordinances, how they can and what they can and can't do. That would be for your attorney, what you can and can't do, but
Yes,
it is,
you can do that.
I know that it's even being brought at the state legislation.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I think it's being looked at.
Like we do with driving, you can't drive a car before the age of 16, can you?
On the bikes,
Yeah.
that I don't know about off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna be more of a.
We'll do the
You'll
research,
do some
but thank you.
research and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I just, again, I just want to bring it up. It is a hot topic. We see it firsthand, and so, just, put the word out. As we go into May, look forward. It's an exciting time for us. This is kind of the Memorial Day. We're going to be almost commemorating almost 250 years of freedom, and so we want to remember that. We always treat May special because we do a special thing. It's our signature event. We do an open house. So we invite the public to come, and it's on Saturday, May 16th. We do a memorial walk in honor of Memorial Day from 8 to 10. It'll start there at Station 511. We go down to Marty B's and back. It's about 5 or 6 miles. All the firefighters and police, we wear our gear, and it's kind of a fun thing. And then we come back and fellowship and have a good time, and free hamburgers and hot dogs, activities for the family, stuff like that. But we just open our doors and we invite the public. So we do that in honor of Memorial Day. And then we also do a blood drive. We'll be doing a blood drive on Saturday, May 23rd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that's also, we do that twice a year, one for Memorial Day and one in honor of September 11th. So anyways, come out and see us on May 16th. And if you don't want to walk, just come hang out at the station, get a hamburger and
Well,
hot dog.
I did it last year, Mayor observed,
Yeah.
but I invite all of you up here to join me this
It's a good
next
time.
Saturday.
Hopefully the weather will be
to
nice.
do it again.
Rain or shine, we do it, so.
It's a nice hike.
Hopefully, it's a good morning stroll.
Observing was nicer.
I'll go on my e-bike.
You can take your e-bike, there you go.
Take an e-bike.
Any questions, comments?
Nope, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Anything else, Troy, for those things?
Nope, that's it.
I'll jump into the next item, is ordinance review update. Yvonne, would you have anything that you would like to re-mention before we move on into?
In Mayor and Council, he's really here to address the ordinance of
question,
item 3 as it
Okay.
relates to the Scribner ordinance.
All
So
right.
any questions that are related to that, he'd be happy to answer that either now or during the item when it's called up
right.
for consideration.
I don't hear any questions right now. We'll move on. Thank you. Consent items then, we're going to go to items of consent are routine in nature and administrative nature. Voted as one group. The 3 items we have for consent and approval by the town council are approval of the April 13th, 2026 minutes of council meeting, approval of the April 26th financials, and approval of the quarterly investment report for the period ending March 31st. I'll take any motion to approve these 3 items, the consent items.
Can I just point something out real quick?
You can.
On the investment report. So three quick things. One is, since our last report, we've reformatted this a little bit. We've broken out the logic accounts because they were all combined into one. Now you can see the individual accounts. And there's another $526,000 in our funds, so congratulations. Bad news, though, is interest rates continue to slide. Since October, they're down 46 basis points, which is a pretty big drop, but still it beats keeping it in the bank account earning less than 1%. So, and it's generating about $20,000 a month for us in interest, which is great. So,
Okay. Is there a motion for approval of these 3 consent items?
I make a motion that we approve the 3 consent items.
Motion made by Councilmember Newton, seconded by anyone?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Dahl. Both are our investment team. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Hearing that, it's a unanimous decision to approve the consent items. Moving on for items for consideration. Members of the public may speak on these items as necessary if they had not spoken before these items being on the agenda. Does anybody from the public have anything they wish to discuss on items 1 through 5? Hearing none, we'll move on to comments and discussion by the council. Each May, with our new elections we had, and we appoint a new Mayor Pro Tem and Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, and I am nominating this time around for this year for Mayor Pro Tem Paula Castillo. And the reason is, we're just trying to throw things around a little bit, to give everybody some experience and time on titles. And also, there's probably no one that knows more people in town than Paula. So, is there any discussion on Paula Castillo for Mayor Pro Tem? Hearing none, I'll take a vote for accepting and approving, appointing Paula Castillo for Mayor Pro Tem for Copper Canyon.
I vote that we approve Paula Castillo for Mayor Pro Tem.
I'll second.
Approval by Councilmember Newton, seconded by Councilmember Dahl. All in favor of accepting Paula Castillo for Mayor Pro Tem, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. And that's approved. Paul Castillo is now the Mayor Pro Tem of Copper Canyon. Next item, discussion, consider take action on Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, and for that one, I'm going to nominate Miss Nancy Henry. And the rationale that I use for that is there's nobody knows more in the history of Copper Canyon than Nancy Henry. She's been here almost before the town was incorporated. Not that that's a bad thing, that's a good thing for us. So I will take any discussion on Nancy Henry being nominated to be Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. No discussion on that. I'll take a motion to accept and appoint Nancy Henry as Deputy Mayor Pro Tem for Copper Canyon.
I'll make a motion that we accept Nancy Henry as Deputy Mayor Pro Tem of Copper Canyon.
Motion made by Paul Castillo,
I'll second the motion.
seconded made by Councilmember Hubbard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Deputy Mayor Pro Tem is now Nancy Henry. Congratulations, Nancy. Third item, going to discussion, consider take action ordinance 2608, amending various ordinances to correct typographical errors, scrivener errors, and cross-references within the town code. This is the project that Yvonne has been working with us for quite a while now. We really appreciate him doing his work he's done for us, and we've brought it to the council several times over the last few months. Several discussions, also in workshops for the public. Anybody discussion on accepting the, or approving the 2608 ordinance?
My only notes are
Amending.
that, I discussed with him that, that I'm happy to, send some notes, and that given those few things, that I would be, happy to go along with, anyone that would want to recommend approval, given those notes. But that would be my,
We can always
My
reach
points.
back in. We can always reach back in and change things as necessary
I don't
if the
like
things
that.
you bring up.
that language. That's, once it's approved, it's approved. And
Oh.
so that would be, I don't know, legally it's approved. Does that make sense to you, Deborah?
Yes, it is approved, but council can always go back, just like we're doing with the ordinance now. We're going in, we had an accepted ordinance, and we
You have to
voted
adjust
on
it.
the ordinance, and we made a change. Now, you brought up a concern regarding the definition, right? That definition.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so,
That's okay.
okay, so were there other items?
Yes, I discussed with Yvonne that, I was pointing out several points of, I'm pointing out several places where, there's repeated spacing, and several areas where Copper Canyon is not capitalized. That I can point out on page 19 where it says the mayor shall have the authority to sign all contracts and agreements not in exceed 15,000, where instead of saying, not to exceed, I can point out where it says that there is an incongruence where it says these are little points that should not prevent us from approving tonight, but they should be corrected. And once it's approved, and it's not correct. And I just feel like we're back in the subdivision ordinance, where this is nitpicking, and I don't want it to prevent us from approving, but I feel like they should they should be amended. It's an incomplete document that is not correct. And so I just feel like, I feel like between a rock and a hard
Did you
place.
pass out the change, I mean, did you provide the changes or your concerns to Troy?
I called today and I said, you know, I was not able to provide them, you know, rapidly. I had some things going on,
Okay.
so this is where I'm at.
Sure.
So
Well, I'll tell you what,
One
The-
thing,
the-
if I could mention,
Go
so
ahead.
a lot of those are part of the ordinance now, not necessarily the changes that I'm recommending. Are there anything to the changes that I am recommending on Scrivener's errors and not?
No.
Because we can come back with additional ones, like town attorney mentioned. We can come back and use those and make additional changes, but you know, if there's any changes to the changes I'm recommending, those would be the ones that we want to discuss.
and that's kind of the discussion that I wanted to have. What you've done is fine. So
well, that's what we're
let's
voting
do
on.
so let's do that.
That's what we're voting on. And the important issue for everyone to understand is that none of these changes, as we're doing them as 14A ordinances all at the same time, none of them change the policies, procedures, or rationale for any of these ordinances.
Okay.
They're just correcting academic errors
Okay.
and academic
Fair enough.
corrections that need to be made. Any other discussion on that then? And I will say this back to just off the top of my head, even the Constitution of the United States had amendments made to it. So you can always go back and correct things.
I get that.
Okay.
I guess my point is that I want to make sure that if at the point that we're at, we're not moving on to the next step with what.
We're
by
not. We're not.
approving that.
We'll fix
Okay.
it. All right, so with that, any other discussion on approving the ordinance 2608?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve ordinance 2608, amending the various ordinances to correct typographical errors and Scrivener errors.
I'll make the motion that we approve ordinance 26-008, amending the various ordinances applicable to chapters 1 through 14 and 14A of the town code.
I have a motion by Councilmember Castillo, a second by anyone?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Hubbard. Thank you very much. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. And that's a unanimous decision, 5-0 for accepting and approving ordinance 2608, which corrects the Scrivener errors in chapters 1 through 14, 14A of the town code. And yes, we can go back and fix anything that we still find, properly. Next, we have discuss, consider, take action regarding the agreement for the furnishing, installing a maintenance traffic signal preemption equipment between the state of Texas, TxDOT, and the town of Copper Canyon. Troy has information on this.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mayor, Council, this is in regards of the signal light that's on Vickery and 407. We had budgeted to install an Opticom system, and what that system will do, as the fire department, police department are approaching that light, they gain control of it to move traffic out of their way. This is a standard TxDOT requirement that when you install that type of equipment, it's the town's responsibility of that equipment. So if that light pole tips over or the Opticon system starts to misfire or misfunction, it's on the town's budget to go ahead and replace that or do whatever it needs to make that equipment work again. So this is TxDOT just making sure that we understand that that equipment is ours and for ours to fix when it does malfunction.
Any questions of that from the council members?
When will that be installed?
Well, as soon as we get this done, then we'll have to go back to TxDOT, send them all the specs on it. So I would love to give you guys a date, but it's just depending how they respond. But hopefully in the next 2 months, I'm guessing.
Great.
Hearing no further discussion on that, I'll close the discussion, and I'll take a motion for approving the agreement for the furnishing and installation of the maintenance traffic signal with the state of Texas TxDOT.
I make a motion that we approve the agreement for the furnishing and installation of the maintenance of the traffic signal preemption equipment between the state of Texas, TxDOT, and the town of Copper Canyon.
And a second? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilmember Newton, seconded by Councilmember Castillo. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Passes unanimously to approve agreement of furnishing the installation of the traffic signal with the state of Texas, TxDOT, and the town of Copper Canyon. Next item, discuss, consider, and take action regarding choosing TriStar to complete the Town Hall Improvement Project, council chamber improvements. I'm going to refer back over to Troy again. He has the details on this.
Mayor and council, on this one, if you guys recall, we had a contractor that came in as the low bidder on this project, and they had assured us that they could get the bonds associated to meet our requirements. And typically, after it's approved, then they go get their bonds to make sure that it gets approved. And so in the process of doing that, they could not get the bonds that we required. So we went to our second bidder, which is TriStar. And so they came forward and were still willing to work with us. And so that's where we're at today. And it still falls within our budget. Some of this project will be funded, as you guys were putting some security measures up here for the council and other committees. And so some of it will be funded through our court security funds as well. That can only be used for court functions. So, but that's in a nutshell. Like I said, we're still within the budget that we had planned for it, and that's where we want to move forward with this contractor.
All right, thank you very much, Troy. Is there any council discussion on the item for switching over to TriStar for the council improvements?
Mayor, I'm going to have to recuse myself. This is a company that my husband and I have used before. I do not have any business interests in this company, but this is where I will take my leave.
Well, I appreciate that. Okay. All right, any other discussion or anything like that from the council relative to this change of
And
contract?
Troy, you met with TriStar and you feel comfortable with them?
Yes, I sure do. We've met several times. We've got samples. We've got some references that we checked as well. And so they're a pretty reputable company, for sure.
Okay.
And so hopefully we'll get the bonds within the next, if it gets approved tonight, hopefully we'll get the bonds that we require in the next 7 to 10 days, and then we'll kick the project off and go from there.
Yes.
Sounds good.
The previous company was a reputable company also, whatever like that. They just didn't meet the requirements that the bond company wanted relative to their company. So they gave up the project, really.
Okay.
With that, I'll take any action to choose TriStar to complete the town hall improvements. Any recommendations?
I'll make a motion that we approve TriStar to complete the town hall improvement project.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Hubbard. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Dahl. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. That's 4 and 1 abstention, 1 recusal. So that's approved. TriStar is now on the hook to improve the town hall. Final item, discuss further agenda items. Any council member can request an item to be placed on subsequent agendas in the next meeting. Does anyone have any item they wish to be put on the agenda for the next meeting?
I don't,
Oh, yeah. Could you-
somebody said
oh,
it.
get her, bring her in. Thank you. What? Okay.
We're gonna vote. We already voted.
Okay.
I don't have, I was gonna say, I don't have an item for a future agenda, but just a reminder, to our residents that the primary runoff election, early voting starts next Monday, the 18th, runs through May 22nd, and then election day is actually May 26th. And we have the pleasure of the fact that we can both vote for early election and on election day at Briarwood. We're one of the few lucky places where you don't have to go to your precinct on election day because our precinct is also early voting. So I would encourage everybody in our town to get out and vote.
Absolutely. Can you stay? Do you have to leave? No. I'd like to call one more executive session at 8:24 for consultation with our attorney concerning personnel matters and stuff. And that way, if anybody wants to leave, they can leave. I don't know, it's just a few minutes, I think, but we have to finish up an item from what we were talking about earlier. So at 8:24, we're running an executive session for consultation with our attorney concerning personnel items.
Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it.
executive session at 8:45. No action was taken as a result of the executive session. And I'll also take a motion to adjourn the regular council meeting at 8:45.
I vote that we adjourn the meeting.
Second? Motion by Councilmember Newton, seconded by Councilmember Hubbard, who needs dinner, she says. And all in favor, say aye. Aye. All against, say nay. And meeting is adjourned at 8:46.
Oh, thank you. Michael.
All right. Guess what? Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. Look outside on my new pen. That's like yours. I bought your pen. Oh, you did buy it. I got fine points in. Oh, okay. Let's see.
Here, the cookie. Is that?
Oh, I thought they were. Here.
Adios. Oh, I need something? Oh, gotcha.
I'm gonna get one. Take home. Do I leave this with you? Okay, I'll leave it. Thank you. I'm glad we didn't cry. Sheila, I'm glad we didn't start crying. I know. Almost did. I was like, hi, Nancy, don't cry.
I thought you were gonna cry and then you made me cry.
I was trying not to cry. Hey, but let the garage door open for the birds when he came.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, mommy's gotta get in there and feed them now, so.
I know I'm gonna leave it open. I'm leaving it open and I lock the door from the garage. And they can't get my car because it's security, yeah. Yeah.
So our next meeting is the June 8th? Okay, and that, I won't be here for that. You won't be? Right, I'll put that in my chart, so.
Bye, Jeff.
See ya.
Bye, guys. See ya.
Yeah, I got mad, I almost cried, and I was like, all
I
right.
know, we could hear you, but then you held it together, so.
You should have seen me when I got married. Paul flew in to marry us. He was stationed in San Francisco area. I was crying so hard I couldn't get the vows out.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And I thought